everyone, Jaymes Mansfield here bringing you yet another video. Oh my god, you guys, it is time for Iconic Redheads. Yes! Oh my god, it is a long time coming. Pack, it's finally time. Iconic Redheads is finally here. I hope you feel heard, sweetheart. Oh my gosh, we are doing quite the Iconic Redhead today. If you can't tell from the title, it is Lucille Ball. Yes, the queen of comedy herself. Lucy. Yes, we are so excited to do Lucille Ball today because she's got quite the story. And if you're interested in 1940s and 1950s hairstyles, particularly pertaining to like glamorous housewives, or if you have a Halloween costume you need this for, this is the video for you. All right, let's get started. Now, to do Lucy's hair, you have to roller set. And she has a very particular roller set to achieve the result that she wants. So first things first, I'm going to just angle this, and we're going to focus on this area of the head right here at first. Because she's got what you call like faux mountainous bangs. Like a big old pile of curls on top of her head to look and resemble bangs. And they all kind of morph together. It's very fascinating. Now, Lucille Ball is a native New Yorker. Many series of unfortunate events occurred in Lucy's life, in her early life. So let's just gloss past that because I don't think it's particularly necessary to go into it. If you want to hear more about that, definitely check out an in-depth documentary. But as far as it goes, I like to keep it light. So let's just focus on the showbiz, shall we? Because truly, that's where it really starts to get interesting. So Lucille Ball, as she became a young woman, was constantly trying to find a way to break into show business in any way. And when she started off, many teachers had told her she was a horrid actress. Yes, they thought she was lousy and thought she should consider any other career. Acting was not the one for her. But not to be discouraged, she found work in modeling. Particularly in print ad modeling, she became one of those models that was seen quite everywhere. She had a face that was really gorgeous when you look at it. Like, we know her for being like this, like, you know, goofy comedic lady with these faces. But she was a very stunning woman. And when she was cleaned up, made up, and dolled up, she looked really gorgeous. But she would soon catch the eye of Hollywood, and they were trying to figure out what to do with her at first. She made many appearances, small appearances in movies, but not really playing anything particularly memorable. It wasn't until she was on a film set where she met Desi Arnez. And Desi Arnez would be the chance acquaintance that would change her life. The couple would date for only a few months before they eloped. And Lucy would say it was like love at first sight. Like they felt madly in love with each other. Like they just charmed each other. And they got on really, really well. What Lucy did not know is that Desi Arnez was a serial cheater and a horrible womanizer. It was honestly his worst fault. He loved Lucy, pun intended, but he also just loved women and partying more. And she did not know this about him when they started courting each other. However, after they were married, Desi and Lucy would pitch to television networks an idea they had for a show inspired by their real life as entertainers and as an entertainment couple. And the show I Have Lucy would be picked up.
Okay, pause. It has come to my attention that I've been referring to I Love Lucy as I Have Lucy, and I do it a couple more times in this video. I'm noticing this as I edit the video, and yeah, I am going to go take a cold shower. Talk to you later.
And here's the thing. I Have Lucy was a phenomenon nobody was expecting to be a hit, but it was. It was like an overnight sensation. It picked up so fast. And this is the early days of television. So people were obsessed with this show. It was the Friends of its time, okay? Like, it was a phenomenon. Like, stores were rumored to have closed early at 9 o'clock because they knew I Love Lucy was coming on. And everyone in the country was home watching it. And I think what set this show apart from others is that it was a screwball comedy and it was hilarious. And you watch it back nowadays, it still holds up. Like, it's still a very, very funny show. And Lucille Ball attributes this to having brilliant writers. She would say full-heartedly she is not a funny person. Like, she never thought of herself as funny. She's not naturally funny. She was an actress first and foremost. But she had really talented writers that could write amazing material for her. And she was fearless and would do it. Like, anything that threw her way, she would do it. No matter how goofy or stupid it made her look, she was not afraid of it. Particularly slapstick comedy. Like, she was a natural at it. And this is also a common theme I've noticed with a lot of comedians. Like, Charlie Chaplin would say a lot of the similar things where it's like, you know, They weren't funny people, but they were just very, very good actors and could be funny when given good material. Now, Lucy and Desi would have a tumultuous relationship with each other, mostly in the fact that like Lucy didn't know how to deal with a husband that was constantly like cheating on her and disappointing her. And she relied on him to be a part of this partnership to make this work. Like their work was intertwined with each other. This TV show was the biggest TV show in the country, and they just had to like make something of it, you know? They couldn't let it fall to the wayside, but it would take a toll on Lucy for many, many years and would make her a very innately insecure woman and would make her difficult to deal with on set. Like there are a lot of stories from people that paint her out to be a bit of a monster and a bit of a tyrant when it came to running that set of I Love Lucy. She had a very particular way she wanted things done, and if it wasn't, it would not do. It was going to be a brawl. Many celebrities have come out saying how they did not have a very pleasant experience working on the show, from Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor later on in their lives, mentioning how unfun this whole situation was. They found her very, very cold. Tallulah Bankhead famously had it out with her, but it could not be denied that this show had a grip on the country. They were obsessed with it. Honey, the world loved Lucy. All right, now I'm going to roll this and I'll be right back. Welcome back. I have the hair all curled. This is her. Look at her. It kind of looks like her already. The rollers in. Oh my goodness. So, with the success of I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball would become one of the most powerful women in television. For a long period of time, she was the highest paid woman, okay? Like, she was making money moves. And with this success, she and Desi would found their own studio. Desi Lou. Yes, they had their own film studio to make their own productions. Like, she was a powerhouse, honey. And Desi Lou always has like a little place in my heart because Desi Lou Studios, the old building, was actually where they housed and filmed Drag Race Season 9. It wasn't Desi Lou at that point, but the bones were still there. And it felt cool to be in that building where all that history had taken place. Like, it still resonated a lot with me. But like I said, Lucille Ball became a powerhouse when it came to making money moves and business decisions. She produced a lot of programs. Not to mention, like, all the programs starring her, she had a hand in. Like, she got to select all the writers and basically would retool the I Love Lucy formula into about like 3 or 4 other series. Many of which would star her and her children, like Lucie Arnez and Desi Jr. Like, she was trying to springboard their acting careers as well. Now, in case you're wondering what I Love Lucy is about, I'll give you a brief rundown of it. Essentially, what it is Desi Arnez is playing himself as this wonderful entertainer who is working in show business, and his wife is this talentless person, a bit of a moron, that desperately wants to be in show business, but she has no talent whatsoever. But she will constantly do any kind of hijinks with her neighbors, Fred and Ethel, so that she can somehow get involved in the show. And it never works out, and it always leads to hilarious results. Opportunities for situational comedy and guest stars galore. It was a fantastic formula that worked and set the ground for a lot of sitcoms to come and follow. Like, she set the ground rules, and people have been using stuff from I Love Lucy ever since. Like, if you watch shows like The Nanny, that kind of situational comedy, like, Lucille Ball and her writing team really helped develop a strong formula. Slapstick, misunderstanding, and just making a fool of yourself for the sake of comedy. Getting dressed up in disguises, like, she did it all. When it came to Lucy in movies, it's a different story. Like, she is definitely a celebrity that lives and breathes on television. It was always going to be where she had the most success. She didn't make a lot of movies, like, especially her early career. She was in, like, the Ziegfeld Follies, and she looks gorgeous in that, by the way. Be sure and check that out. Where she's in that pink outfit, and she looks so glam. It's the prettiest she's ever looked on film. And she's made a couple of small appearances here and there, but again, like, nothing really memorable. But this idea of being a movie star would be explored yet again in the 1970s. But let's get into Lucy and Desi's story, shall we? Because it's been said that, like, they had a tumultuous relationship and they fought constantly while they were married. They were a toxic couple together, but they made money. And they had to, because, like, all their money was tied up in this, like, partnership, in this comedy series that they were doing. So they stuck it out, especially since they had children. Like, Lucy was really sticking it out for that. However, their kids would later say, as soon as they divorced, they got a lot nicer. Like, they were bad for each other, Like, they loved each other, but they just did not work. Like, Lucy had a completely different idea in mind of where she wanted her life and her career to go. And Desi Arnez wanted to party and live a life, you know, surrounded with women and, like, fun times. You know, it doesn't really work out that way if you want to also be married as well. Your partner kind of has to be okay with that. So, they would divorce, but they would still maintain a close partnership because they had businesses and things together. So, they actually became a lot more better suited for each other, away from each other. Lucy would remarry, and kind of 1970s, like I said, she had built up quite a bit of capital, and she had ideas for herself that she wanted to tackle, one of which would be a big black hole on her career. Now, let's set the scene, shall we? On Broadway, a little actress named Angela Lansbury is starring in a hit called Maine, based on the book by Patrick Dennis, Auntie Maine, which was also made into a movie starring Rosalind Russell. Now, this was a musical sensation that took the nation by storm. Angela Lansbury, B. Arthur, starring as an eccentric aunt of a not gay man. I don't know if we're supposed to say it, but it's kind of well known that Patrick Dennis was a homosexual, but he didn't write that in the play. But she is the eccentric aunt of a young boy that she takes in because his father dies suddenly of a heart attack, and his father was very strict, very conservative, and hated her. So she does her best to raise him in the way she sees fit. And he gets taken away. It's a really great book, and it's a great movie with Rosalind Russell. And it made an even better musical with Angela Lansbury, who was a tour de force in this. And everyone was expecting it to eventually be made into a movie and star Angela Lansbury. However, that would not happen. Many people loved this musical, one of those many people being Lucille Ball, who had an idea for her next film, something that would put her back on the map and put her in the mind of people for generations to come. She thought to herself, if I was Auntie Maine, that's like the perfect way to cap off my film career. Well, let's talk about the Maine event, shall we? So, Lucille Ball buys the rights to Maine, and with that, she closes the Broadway production. It's taken off Broadway, and Lucille Ball begins development immediately of Auntie Maine. She's going to create Maine the musical for the silver screen. This would be probably one of the biggest mistakes in Hollywood history. Let's talk about it, okay? So, when you think of Lucille Ball, you of course think of an amazingly talented and funny actress. What you don't think of is Lucille Ball as an amazing and talented singer. Lucille Ball is not a good singer. She wasn't. We'll just say it. She was not a good singer. And she knew this, but she had the confidence that her persona alone would be enough to carry this. Now, when you listen to the soundtrack for Maine and you hear Lucy sing, she sounds a bit like a frog that's been working as a truck driver and smoking 16 packs a day for 40 years. She does not sound good whatsoever. The critics were merciless, and this production was plagued with problems from the start. Lucy clashing with directors, and visions were constantly being thrown about and undermined, and it was a production from hell. No one that worked on this seemed to have enjoyed themselves. It's like Myra Breckenridge level of disastrous productions. Needless to say, the movie comes out and it does a belly flop at the box office. It is a tremendous flop, and the critics are merciless. Everyone is saying, Lucy, what were you thinking? And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact too, one, it wasn't a very good adaptation, but two, people had an idea in mind of who they wanted to be Auntie Mame at this point. If it's not Rosalind Russell, it better be Angela Lansbury. And it wasn't. And for years, Lansbury had toured in this production, so that was all you could think of when it came to this. But this would be a trend that happens in Hollywood quite often, where the person that starred in the Broadway production and made it a huge success oftentimes does not star in the final product when it comes to the screen. Think of Hello, Dolly with Carol Channing. She never made it to the screen. That was a vehicle for Barbra Streisand. Or My Fair Lady with Julie Andrews ended up becoming a big budget vehicle for Audrey Hepburn. This would just follow that long tradition of musical theater roles that don't go to the actress that made them famous. And I feel like that was a huge hindrance on Lucy's part when it came to doing Maine. And even she would later admit that that was a huge mistake and she shouldn't have done it. Or if she were to produce it, she should have had Angela in it. Starring in it was not the move. But this is one of those peak examples of a vanity project getting away from somebody. All right, just rooting a hairline right now because she wears an updo. When I think Lucille Ball, I always think of like a pulled back updo with stacks of curls all over. All right, I'm gonna root the rest of this and I'll be right back. Welcome back. Okay, so I gave it a French twist and I cut the rooted hairline on it. I think it looks pretty cute. Now all I do here is just the little ends of the French twist. I just brush through them and work the curls up to get that nice little updo look. Now the main event was really these curls up top that we saved. So I'm gonna start teasing these up and trimming them. Sort of like how you would do a bubble flip, just to add volume to it. Because a lot of this is just hair that she would tease up and she had lots of bangs. Now Lucille Ball, as she would get older, would just become a major celebrity in regards, like she would do like a lot of television appearances here and there or have television specials, but her TV shows were not as successful as they used to be. Like Here's Lucy and other shows that she was doing, they didn't have the same formula and same magic. Like the world was ready to move on. But Lucy was still very much a beloved presence, especially in the world of comedy. Like she was given the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Comedy Awards. Like she was very much a beloved icon. Sadly, tragedy would soon strike her in her older age as Desi Arnez would get very, very, very sick and he would soon be on his deathbed. And Lucy was working on a production at that time, but she had gotten the opportunity to give him a phone call. And Desi Arnez's last words were, "I love you, baby. Have a good show." And it's been said that, like, those two loved each other to the very, very end. Like, they never stopped loving each other despite the fact that they weren't married anymore. Because, again, like, they were with each other for a long time. They had children. They had a whole life together that you can't really ignore. Like, there's always going to be love there. And Lucille Ball, sadly, only a few years later would pass away herself, leaving behind a legacy that cannot be ignored. Like, she is a comedy legend. You cannot argue that, like, she has had an impact when it comes to comedy and the way sitcoms are structured and just pioneering women in the world of comedy and television. Like at that time, there were really no other women to compare her to. Like she was in a league all her own and has broken down a lot of boundaries that were put up ahead of her. Because again, when it came to Hollywood, they didn't see it for her as far as a movie actress goes. They did not know, they did not think she had what it takes to be an actress, and she proved them wrong. She found her lane and she excelled in it entirely. I have a lot of really great memories when it comes to Lucille Ball because she was always ever present in my childhood because my grandparents, particularly on my mom's side, always watched old television, especially reruns of I Love Lucy. Like the theme song became ingrained in my mind, especially with the animated title they had, where you see like Desi and Lucy like as stick figures kissing. Like I was introduced to some great comedy growing up because my grandfather really, really loved Lucille Ball and old movies and just older television from that period. It was like his comfort thing. We'd watch I Love Lucy reruns and westerns. It's like as soon as Rio Bravo was done, we were watching I Love Lucy. Particularly, I think my favorite episode would probably have to be the grape stomping one. I love that one. You might remember that scene from Pretty Woman where she's watching that in the hotel room. Or especially Vita Vegemin. Come on now, Vita Vegemin with the bottle. I've seen so many drag queens do that as a comedy routine. Baby Jane back in Milwaukee, that used to be her thing. She would do that all the time. Or the conveyor belt in the chocolate factory. All right, just one little bit here and we're done. Oh, hell yeah. Check her out. I impress myself all the time, honestly. Girl, that is Lucille Ball. I'm so excited to wear this. It's going to be a bit matronly on me, but I'm excited. It's very motherly. I'm so glad we did this. Oh my goodness. Now, you guys, I hope you enjoyed hearing about Lucille Ball. I'll be right back. I'm going to try this on for the final result. Ooh. Welcome back. This is the final result. I had to put on my uniform because it actually is inspired by the Vita Vegemin uniform from I Love Lucy. I feel like it's very much in the right theme. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love Lucille Ball. Like, she's near and dear to my heart. I'm so glad she gets to be the very first iconic redhead that we do. Oh my goodness. Now, what are some iconic redheads you want to see? I'm always interested in hearing. I think Rita Hayworth maybe, or maybe Tempest Storm. There's so many great ones. I want to know what you want to see. Now, I have to take a moment for my wiglets. Roll it!
And I'd like to give a huge shout out to my wiglets, Jacob, Ernie, Duke, Just BKZ, Vera, myself, Hairface, Steve, So Many Kitties, JT, Christine, Curtis, Miss Mosey D, Romeo and Juliet, Rose, Darth Curray, Catalina, Miss Lansing, Maureen, Veronica, Molly, Carl, Dolores, Loreza, Martha, Louise, Harmon, Astro, B-Rex, Matthew, Roger, Tyler, Brian, Margarita, Adam, Samuel, Michael, Becca, Chrissy, Akoni, Jason, JJ, Nisi, Roy, Anita, Selena, Ricky, Dirkus, Myron, Daniel, Gwendolyn, Hack, Eliza, Ember, Sponge King, Doug, Hermage, Andrew, Hunter, Homeo, and Ramona. Thank you all so much, Wiglets.
Thank you so much, Wiglets. And I also have some YouTube super thanks from Roger, Ricola, Roger again, Callan, and Romeo and Juliet. Thank you so much for the YouTube super thanks. And I'd like to take a moment, a Venn moment for Amy. Thank you, Amy. And Nelson. Thank you so much for the Venn moments. Now, I had a blast doing this episode. It's been a long time coming. Ask Pac. I know it's been a very long time coming. Sorry, honey. Oh, my goodness. Now, I love this. I gotta go work a shift, though, okay? I'll be right back. I'm gonna go see if my husband's gonna put me in the show finally. Now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, see you in the live streams. Bye. Now, hit the outro.
Click here and learn all about the history of wig wearing. Or watch Iconic Brunettes, Betty Davis. Come on, click it. You know you want to. If you don't click it, you're super, super lame. So click it.
Wait, Nevada is a